Hi, Miss Hollington.
Hello there.
And hello, everybody. I'm back with the next episode of Culture and Cognition series. But this time, it's not a specific country based podcast. We speak about culture very connected to a specific country. But truly, the society is international.
For sure. Yes, it
And when we
certainly is.
say international, what is the actual definition of international? So I was very intrigued with uh, this idea, and I wanted to do my next podcast on international culture as a theme. And that's when I thought about you, Miss Hollington, who better would be the right person for this. So, firstly, thank you so much for agreeing, to do this video over.
It's my pleasure. I always like talking about internationalism. It's
Yeah.
a wonderful thing to do.
And Miss Hollington is the head of school in ICS Paris, and you have rich experience and exposure towards multiple cultures, primarily with Europe, Middle East, and Asia, and extensively in each of the countries in academic industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us, what is international culture?
That's a really good question, and the International Baccalaureate has been trying to define it for a long time. We talk about international mindedness, and it can be misinterpreted. When you talk about an international school, a lot of people think, oh, there's a lot of students from different countries go there. Well, yes, that's true. I mean, we have over 60 nationalities in our school, but it's not really about where people come from. It's who they are, and I think it's the spirit of internationalism. What is it to be an international person? You need to be open. You need to be thinking about different cultures. You need to be aware. You need to be respectful, and it's not about coming from many places. It's about who you are as a person. And I think this is what's quite exciting about the International Baccalaureate, which is the curriculum we follow in our school, is that what they do is they put what they call the learner profile at the heart of everything. And this has about 10 attributes that we want our students to become internationally minded. So things like being principled, being open-minded, being balanced, being aware of others, being caring, being responsible, those sorts of attributes, and I think that's the most important. And sometimes when people come to visit, they'll say to me, "Oh, where does that child come from?" And I don't even know, because I don't see them as coming from Taiwan or Sri Lanka or France or wherever. They're just children, they're just students, and that's the exciting thing about it. And I think, as we are becoming more globalized, we're moving around the world so much more. It's not about where you come from, but who you are and what you bring to the situation that you're in that makes you international.
That's very powerful. What are your takes on generational culture and the observations, especially what is it that we can learn from the younger generation?
We can learn a lot. I mean, we're always learning from our students. They're amazing. It's wonderful to be around such inspiring young people, and I think that's why I love my job so much. The generational culture, I think, for me, I mean, I've been teaching in education for a long time, and I think it's the what do our students expect from education? What do parents expect from education? And that has changed. That has shifted, certainly. I think before, schools were just a place where students learnt about stuff and passed the exam, and that was it. And now it's more encompassing. I think our schools really develop the whole child, and so I would say that's how the school has really developed. We think about not only the students' academic abilities, but who they are as a person, how we can develop them, and their wellness, how their mental health, and that's a big change. Now, to answer your question about what can we learn from the younger students, it's I think it's the openness and the obviously technology. They've been brought up with much more technology, and I, for one, can certainly learn a lot from our students about technology. But I think their excitement, their questioning. I think students now question much more, which is a great way of pushing the education system to give them those answers, or if not to give them the answers, to show them how to find the answers. And so that's really important. they don't accept things at face value, which is a good thing. They don't say, okay, the teacher said it, so it must be right. They will question. And I think particularly in the curriculum that we are offering at the International Baccalaureate, that is part of the framework of the pedagogy. We want our students to question. We want them to say, well, why? And what? And also, not only that, but what can I do about it? And so action is very important. They want to do things. They want to take part. They want to make a difference. And they're able to, because they're asking these questions and they want answers. And so I think we as educators can learn a lot from our students, because I know when I was at school, back in the day, the teacher said something and that was it. You just agreed with it and you did it. But I think our students questioning, I think that's a very exciting place for students to start from, and for us to gear education around that, their innate intellectual and curiosity. So that's what I would say we can learn from them. And as well, the use of technology. Technology is changing. AI is going to change education considerably, and we're preparing for it. So that will be another paradigm shift, really, in education. So we will be learning a lot from them. And I think as educators, we have to mirror our students' questioning and also say, okay, this is coming. What are we going to do in our education to make sure that our students get the best from this? So that's what I learned from our students.
So Ms. Hollington, being the head of ICS Paris, which is truly a global and international school,
It certainly is.
but what do you observe as a cultural cognition which is influenced by the education system? Because education system is the foundation.
Exactly. I think the culture of our school is very international. We respect every culture here. We embrace diversity, for a catchphrase, but we want our students to be individual. We want to hear about what it's like to celebrate something in India or Pakistan or China or wherever. And one of the things we do is we really focus on developing home languages that our children have. We offer those opportunities so that they can keep their own culture, because that's very, very important. We don't want them to become diluted. We want them to be international, but also to know a lot about their own culture. And that's very, very important for us. So that's how I think that impacts on our school. The way we teach, we offer students opportunities to use their own languages in the classroom with friends, to develop their understanding if their English is not at the right level. And I think that gives a lot of respect to who they are as people, and also respects the learning. So all these different ways really help support students becoming international minded, if you will, thinking about how other people are, how they learn, and how we can develop that. So having this international culture is very exciting. It makes us very different and very, very special.
Fantastic. And I think you touched upon the topic of being inclusive, but at the same time respect where you come from.
Exactly.
Prioritize who you are,
yes,
and what you can do together.
Absolutely. and I think this is what is so special. I mean, we celebrated Chinese New Year. We had the lion dance, and a lot of students didn't know what that meant or why we would celebrate it. So that's also a learning experience for them. And of course, our Chinese students were absolutely delighted to see that happening in Paris. But if we can develop students who are aware of the world around them, are responsible, care about our planet, who care about other people as well, I think we'll have done a good job.
Wonderful. It's about the planet, people, and purpose.
Indeed, it is.
So, very interesting updates on the different generations and your observation, and how you mentioned that you really like that the current generation challenge the teachers,
yes,
challenge the experts.
Indeed.
And what connects me with you on the topic, apart from culture, is learning.
Yes.
Because I handle talent development, the learning and development in a corporate organization, and typically adults, right? And the pedagogy differs for formative years, and then when they grow up into a corporate employee. And today, the students from school, the current generation, 20 years later or 10 years later, they're going to be the corporate employees providing there. So what should be the kind of ecosystem that the corporate should have to embrace current generation, current international culture, culturally exposed employees or students to employees? What would be your inputs on that?
I think our students have had so many opportunities going through school. So I think at the other end, as they come out, they're looking for that as well. So it's opportunities not only for themselves to grow as people. I mean, for example, I remember, my daughter was going for an interview and she was asking me, well, she wasn't asking me, she was actually telling me what she said in the interview, asking all those questions about how can I grow? What will be my career path? And I was a bit shocked. I said, well, when I went for an interview, I would never have asked those questions. But students now, they want to know, they want to grow, they want to develop, they want to be better. And how can the corporate world help them do that? Also, how is this corporate environment supporting my mental health? That's a huge thing. Social media pressure is maybe not so much in the corporate world, but certainly with our students, they've been used to that. So how is the corporate world helping their employees, their mental health, become balanced, giving them time out, supporting their needs as well? We're globalizing now, and our planet is in a bad state. What can we do to do something to make it a better place? And I think there is some corporate responsibility for that. And our students who have gone through a process of trying to save the whales, we started with that, and the sustainability ideas and all these things, they're used to charity and helping. And how can the corporate world support them in that? Because I think, we're now at the stage where everyone has to do something, and I think corporates do have a responsibility, and people working for them actually want to do that. So those things, I think, I don't know, I may be wrong, but I feel that those are the things that our students are thinking about a lot, and so as they go into the corporate world, those are the questions they'll be asking.
Very relevant, because I interact with the trainees who just come from, out of university and join the corporate world.
Right.
Now I'm able to resonate the questions on sustainability.
Yes.
What about my career path? The growth.
Indeed.
And like I said, I learned from them. I'm like, why did I not ask that?
I know, really, I should have done that before. It's true. It's very, very important to them, and they see a path. People don't stay in jobs for 10 years anymore, and so they are looking for stepping stones to get to be the best they can be. And to be honest, I don't think it's not necessarily about money anymore. It's really, I mean, obviously it's nice if you're paid well, but I think it's about developing you as a person. And I think this also goes back to the idea of mental health. Having a job that's fulfilling and you're seeing a pathway, so you're moving on, but also having time where you can be yourself, and you can go and play football, or you can go and do whatever you want, be in the right mind frame to do that.
Wonderful. And like you said, that's how international culture is built.
Indeed.
Probably.
Indeed.
Hope this has intrigued to get your curiosity into culture and cognition, the definition of international culture, and how today's students become responsible citizens of tomorrow.
Indeed.
And employees. And we have heard wonderful information from Ms. Hollington with your experience. Thank you very much once again.
My pleasure. Absolutely a pleasure. I've enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you very much. And see you at the next episode. Probably something about, a different dimension of culture and cognition. Signing off, Narmada Kamlakanan.